So before we start or before we continue our reporting, I would let us first have our attendance. Please say present or raise your virtual hand or type present in the chat box when your last name is called. Let's have Kabag, Canonigo.
Present, sir.
Kabag. Okay, thank you. Once again, Canonigo, Capisnon.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Carbos, Siniza. Thank you. Codino. Thank you. Dagle, De La Victoria. Thank you. Felices. Thank you. Gabato. Genon. Hernandez.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Ibarra. Libron.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Lucero. Mahinay. Mahusay.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Mandreza. Okay, thank you. Nigre.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Niadas.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Umandak.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Omega. Thank you. Omictin.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Swan. Thank you. Sumalinog. Suralta.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Texon. Thank you. Tuto.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Valizado. Excuse me. Thank you. And Villacampa. Right. So let's continue our reporting for our subject introduction to AI. So reporters, you may take the floor.
Yes, sir. Just one moment.
Nasa dapito ng module.
Okay, so good morning, guys. So let's continue to our report. Okay, inference rules. So, so what is inference rules? So inference rules is a logical principles or pattern of reasoning used to derive new knowledge and existing information. They provide a systematic way to draw conclusion based on the relationships and structure present within the knowledge base. So, ang kaniding inference rules di ay guys kay ginagamit ni siya sa tanan AI, which is nagaguide ni siya for decision making through logic and probabilistic reasoning or other techniques. So next slide please. So ang inference rules guys is nag-consist niya siya sa two of knowledges, which is the existing and derive. And kaning existing mao ni siya ang premises while the derive is mao ni siya ang conclusion. So in logical reasoning, the premises is a existing statement or piece of information that serves as the starting point for an argument or inference. The conclusion, on other hand, is a statement that is derived from the premises through logical reasoning or inference. So ang goal day ani guys sa logical inference is to draw valid conclusion from the given premises. So next slide please. So the next slide is the example of the inference rules, which is the modus ponens, and it is a fundamental inference rule in logic and reasoning. It operates on conditional statements of often expressed as f then proportions. So example of this one guys is if we are given two pieces of information and we have example here in the next slide please. So one siya ang two pieces of information, which is the if it's raining then Harry is inside. So ang modus ponens guys states that if we have an implication if A then B, then we all know that A is true, then we can conclude that B must also be true. So mao ni siya if it it is raining, so we can conclude that Harry is inside. So mao na siya ang modus ponens. So next slide please. And the next slide is an elimination. Is a logical inference rule used to extract individual components from a conjunction and statement. In simpler terms, it allows us to derive information from a proposition that states two or more conditions are true simultaneously. So if an proportion is true, then any one atomic proportion with n is true as well. So example is this one guys kay that then as friends with Jess and Carbin, so we can conclude that then is friends with Carbin. So and elimination guys kay paano lagi niya siya kanang it involves eliminating possibilities until only one remains. So mao na siya ang subot sa and elimination. So next slide please. And the next slide was the double negation. So is a fundamental rule inference rule in logic that allows us to simplify or remove double negation from a proportion. In simpler terms, it states that if a statement is negated twice, the double negation can be eliminated, resulting in the original statement being affirmed. Excuse me. So a proportion negated twice is must be true. So the example of this one, guys, is in the other slide. So next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So example of this one is, it is not true that Harry did not pass the test. So we can phrase it the following way, and it is not true, close, and then Harry did not pass the test, or we can negate it once, then Harry did not pass the test. And finally, we can use the double negated, which is the Harry passed the test. So the two negation cancel each other, making the proportion Harry passed the test. And yeah, it is true. So like ang statement, ang first statement guys is true ni siya, then ato lang siyang gipamubo which is true gyapon siya, which is Harry passed the test. So ana ra siya ang double negation. So next slide please. So in the next slide is the implication elimination. It is a logical inference rules that allows us to derive new proportion from a implication conditional statement. It operates by breaking down an implication into its logical components, thereby providing insights into the relationship between the antecedent and consequent. So an implication is equivalent to an or a relation between the negated antecedent and consequent. So example of this proportion guys is if it's raining, Harry's inside. Oh, di na ito magbalik it's raining. So also kana lang ito example. If it's raining, Harry's inside. So um ang kaning implication elimination guys is wala ran siya kalahian sa respondents but like the same sila pero nay kalahian. Ang kalahian lang nila ang duha is ang kanang implication elimination is nag-eliminate lang siya. So in modus ponens kay you have two statements man which is if it's raining then we can conclude Harry is true. So in implication elimination is we can say that Harry is inside which is true. So like nag-eliminate lang siya guys. So yeah. Then the next slide is next slide please. So next slide is a biconditional elimination. So in biconditional elimination is a logical inference rule used in deductive reasoning to simplify or derive conclusion from biconditional statement. A biconditional statement, also known as a if and only if statement, asserts that two proportions are equivalent, meaning now proportion is equivalent to implication that inverse and connective. So example of this one guys. Okay. It's sunny today if and only if the sky are clear. So ang kaning biconditional elimination guys is like ang nag-implies ra siya sa butang na to ang state first statement is sunny and then next one is the clear sky. Then so like ang sunny nag-implies ra siya sa clear sky and then clear sky nag-implies ra sad siya sa sunny. So either magkabali-bali silang duha like nag-imply sa gid sila silang duha guys. So the statement must be true as well. So in the next slide which is next slide please. De Morgan's law. So it is a fundamental principle. Nalagyan na yung notes. So is a fundamental principle. Okay, thank you. So in the fundamental principle in logic that it describes the relationship between logical operators such as and or. So and negation and law provides a systematic way to rewrite complex logical information involving negations and conjunctions and or junction disjunction or facilitating their analysis and simplification. So it is possible to turn an and connective into a or connective. So considering the following proportion, it is not true that both Harry and Ron passed the test. From this, it is possible to conclude that it is not true that Harry passed the test, or it is not true that Ron passed the test. This that did that that is the and proportion earlier to be true, and least one of the proportion in the proportion must be or proportion must be true. So like gihimo siya duha nga statement guys, which is the like gibuwag lang si Harry and then Ron. Like nag-apply lang tawag or and. So mora siya ang sabot sa De, Mor- De Morgan's law. Or in similar, it is possible to conclude that reversed. This consider the proportion, it is not true that Harry or Ron passed the test. This is can rephrase as Harry did not pass the test and Ron did not pass the test. So yeah, mora siya like nag-implies lang siya sa or and. Okay, and next slide please. So in the next slide, which is the distributive property, a proportion with two elements that are grouped with an or connective can be distributed or broken down in I wait yeah broken down into smaller units and consisting of and or. So this expression demonstrates how logical conjunction and disjunction or distribute or each other, allowing us to simplify complex logical expressions by breaking them down into more man- manageable forms. Overall, distributive property is a fundamental concept that plays a crucial role in simplifying expression and solving equations and various mathematical and logical contexts. So, kani sila guys, tanan is na-apply ni siya sa EI, which is motong giingon ganiha na nagka-guide siya sa for decision making through logic and probabilistic reasoning or in other technique. So that's all for my report. And next slide, please. Okay, the next
All
slide
right.
is the first
Uh,
order, which is reported run.
yes. Good morning, everyone. So for today, I will continue my discussion from the previous meeting. So, just a quick recap. We have already discussed various propositional logic. We just an overview. We've discussed the inference rule, the clauses, the De Morgan's law, and the other propositional ideas from previous reporters. And now we will discuss, or I will discuss to you guys the first order logic. Next slide, please. All right. So we have here first order logic is a more expressive form of logic than propositional logic. It allows us to represent statements about objects and their properties. So what does this mean? Um, Previously, what we have discussed are propositional thoughts or propositional statements that relies on the value of the statement or the propositional statement, whether it holds a value of true or false. On the other hand, this first order logic is more powerful and expressive. Why? It is because first order logic deals with properties of the object itself, and the relationship between objects. This makes the first order logic much more versatile and allows us to express more complex ideas. From my personal understanding, first order logic can be it's like the same thought in OOP, object oriented programming, where we use classes to identify an object. It's the same thought here. This does not hold any value of the statement, whether it is true or false. But what matters here is the combination between those statements. We will explain more of that later. Next slide, please. Next slide then. Thank you. Wala, or ako'y nag-vlog. There you go. Thank you. So we have here symbols in first order logic. So there are two symbols that you have to take note when we deal with first order logic, and that is constant symbol and predicate symbol. So for constant symbol, these symbols represent specific objects in the world. They can refer to people, places, things, etc. For example, in Hogwarts, example is sorry, Minerva and Gryffindor can be constant symbol. So constant symbol from the name itself, constant, we can consider this as the same constant that we have been learning in the past years, like the constant K. It is something that we cannot change. It's like the real life, it's a real life object that really exists, or it's really something that we cannot change at all. And for predicate symbol, these symbol represents properties that can be true or false for constant symbols, or they can represent relationship between constant symbols. For example, person X is a predicate symbol that can be true for some constant symbols like Minerva, but not for others. Similarly, belongs to XY is a predicate symbol to represents the relationship between X and the house Y. All right. So as mentioned earlier, constant symbol is an exact object. While on the other hand, the predicate symbol shows the relationship of that object and to what it is to a certain relationship. It can be for example, just for context, we have used Minerva or Griffin or Harry. So belongs to here is a predicate symbol that shows relationship if Harry belongs to um house of Gryffindor, or does he belong to any other house? That's the thought there. X is the person and then Y is the house, just for an example. So next slide, please. Thank you. So what are the advantages of first order logic? First order logic allows us to express complex ideas more concisely than propositional logic. One symbol can represent an entire class of objects. For example, person X. Sentences can be quantified to express general truths. For example, in the inverted AX, person X is implied to EY, house Y, and belongs to X and Y. That's just an example. All right. So the quantification there, or the sentence there, just for explanation, states that for any person X, there exists on house Y to which that person belongs to. This captures the general rule that everyone belongs to a house in Hogwarts. By combining constant symbols, predicate symbol, and logical connectives and quantifiers, first order logic provides a powerful tool for representing and reasoning about complex knowledge. So we still have to use the information we've had from the propositional logic. We have the or and the biconditional and the conditional. So there. Uh, thank you. Thank you, Kervin. All right. Next slide, please. All right. So what we have here is universal quantification. So what's this universal quantification? Universal quantification is a tool used in first order logic to express statements that are true for all elements in a domain. It is symbolized with the upside down A. For example, For example, what we have here, um, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Universal, here's how it works. We have variable x in this case that ranges across the entire domain. We have a predicate like person x or belongs to x Hufflepuff that describes a property of element in the domain. The arrow separates the hypothesis from the conclusion. The statement reads as for all x, if x is a person, then x does not belong to Hufflepuff. This expresses a general rule that applies to every person in our group. So I'd like to focus on the provided example in the fourth bullet. As have discussed, the universal quantification uses a symbol that's an inverted A. So in every x, so person x, and then we have here a conditional arrow, which means for every x it does not belong because belong is inverted here. We have a negation on belong. So it means it does not belong to Hufflepuff. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what about existential quantification? So existential quantification is another tool used in first order logic. It is symbolized by the backwards E. So EX house X and belongs to Minerva X. I'll discuss this. All right. So the symbol E, yes, thank you. We yeah, we have a variable X in this case that ranges across the domain, same as the previous example. We have predicates house X and belongs to Minerva X. That describes properties we are sorry. The statement EX house X and belongs to Minerva X reads as there exists a X such that X is a house and Minerva belongs to X. This expresses that there is at least one house in our domain where Minerva belongs. So the main difference between the universal and existential is that except for the symbol they used, where in existential used the inverted E, while the universal uses um inverted A, which means for all. Uh the main difference here is that the existential is mainly focusing on the existing statement or the existing object on the statement. Unlike with universal quantification, which talks about everything, existential quantification focuses on finding at least one instance. So at least one existence on an instance that uses inverted E, that is the existential, which focuses on one single instance to good or at more. Well, on universal quantification, for all, as what it means, it says that something is true about every single element in the domain. So every single element in the domain, as previous example was previous example was the person X does not belong to X and Y. So for every X, so for every person, for example, our X there was Harry. It only means that Harry does not belong to Gryffindor or does not belong to to Hufflepuff, depending on Sal's statement. While on the existential, for any existence, so for any existence of a house, Minerva belongs to X. So X here is our house now. So yeah, I believe that's the last slide of my report. If you guys have any question, please take the time if if you have some. That's all for me. Thank you, guys.
Alright, so is that the last slide for group 1 pa to, no? Or group 2 na to?
Group
Group
Toto,
2, sir.
sir.
Okay. So is that the last slide, group 2? Or last
Yes, sir.
topic
Mga
na yan?
lang last slide, sir.
Okay, thank you. So please give a round of virtual applause for our group 2. By the way, for the groups who have already kanang reported, no? Kay, kasi nga, ano eh, I have created a Google Drive link for you guys to upload your PowerPoints para matun-an sad sa inyo ha, mga classmates, para sa mga upcoming nato nga quizzes, and especially in upcoming nato nga semifinal exam. Okay? So, group 3, are you ready to present your topic? So, if so, you may go ahead and take over our virtual platform and you may start.
Hello, hello. So, good morning, everyone, and we are the group 3. So, from the previous report, we've talked about logical statements and how we draw conclusions through inferences. And now we will talk about uncertainty in the context of AI. So, what is uncertainty? So, next slide, please. So, when we talk about uncertainty, it refers to the lack of certainty or predictability about the situation or outcome or event. It's essentially a condition where there's limited knowledge about what will happen in the future or what the true state of something is at present. Uncertainty can rise from various factors such as incomplete information, randomness, complexity, ambiguity, or unpredictability of events or systems. So now there are different sources of uncertainties in AI. So next slide, please. So the first uncertainty is the data uncertainty. AI models are trained on data, and the quality and accuracy of data can affect the performance of the model. Noisy or incomplete data can lead to uncertain predictions and or decisions made by the AI system. The second one is the model uncertainty. All AI models are complex and can have various parameters and high parameters that needs to be tuned. The choice of model architecture optimizes algorithm and high per parameters can significantly impact the performance of model, leading to uncertainty in the results. The third one is the algorithmic uncertainty, where AI algorithms can be based on different mathematical formulations, leading to different results for the same problem. For example, different machine learning algorithms can produce different predictions for the same data set. The fourth one is the environmental uncertainty, where AI system operates in dynamic environments, and changes in the environment can affect the performance of the system. So, for example, an autonomous vehicle may encounter unexpected weather conditions or road constructions that can impact its ability to navigate safely. The fifth one is the human uncertainty. AI systems often interacts with human, either as users or as part of the decision-making process. Human behavior and preferences can be difficult to predict, leading to uncertainty in the use and adoption of the AI systems. The sixth one is the ethical uncertainty. AI systems often raise ethical concerns such as privacy, bias, and transparency. These concerns can lead to uncertainty in the development and deployment of AI systems, particularly in regulated industries. The seventh one is the legal uncertainty, where AI system must comply with laws and regulations, which can be ambiguous or unclear. Legal challenges and disputes can arise from the use of AI systems, leading to uncertainty in their adoption and implementation. The eighth one is the uncertainty in AI perception. I mean, in AI reasoning today, where AI systems use reasoning techniques to make decisions or predictions. However, these reasoning techniques can be uncertain due to the complexity of the problems they address or the limitations of the data used to train the models. The ninth one is the uncertainty in AI perception, where AI systems perceive their environment through sensors and cameras, which can be subject to noise, occlusion, or other forms of interference. This can lead to uncertainty in the accuracy of the data used to train the AI models or effectiveness of the AI in the real world applications. And lastly is the uncertainty in AI communications, where AI system communicates with human through natural language processing or computer vision. However, language and visual cues can be ambiguous or misunderstood, leading to uncertainty in the effective communication between the human and AI systems. And now we will talk about the types of uncertainty in AI. So there are 11 types of uncertainty in AI. So next slide, please. So the first one is the aleatoric uncertainty, where in this type of uncertainty arises from the inherent randomness of variability in data, and it is often referred to as data uncertainty. For example, in a classification task, aleatoric uncertainty may arise from variations in sensor measurements or noisy labels. Now, the second one is the epistemic uncertainty, and it is related to the lack of knowledge of information about a model. It represents uncertainty that can potentially be reduced with more data or better modeling techniques. It is also known as the model uncertainty and arises from the model limitations, such as simplifications or assumptions. Next is the parameter uncertainty, and in this type of uncertainty is specific to probabilistic models such as Bayesian neural networks, and it reflects uncertainty about the values of model parameters and is characterized by probability distributions over those parameters. The fourth one is the uncertainty in decision making. Uncertainty in AI systems can affect the decision making process. For instance, in reinforcement learning, agents often need to make decisions in an environment with certain outcomes, leading to decision making uncertainty. Fifth one is the uncertainty in natural language understanding. In natural language processing or NLP, understanding and generating human language can be inherently uncertain due to the language ambiguity. The sixth one is the uncertainty in probabilistic inferences. In Bayesian method and probabilistic graphical models are commonly used in AI to model uncertainty. Uncertainty can arise from the process of probabilistic inference itself, affecting the reliability of model predictions. The seventh one is the uncertainty in reinforcement learning. And in reinforcement learning, uncertainty may arise from the stochasticity of the environment or the exploration exploitation trade off. Agents must make decisions under the uncertainty about the outcomes of their actions. Next is the autonomous systems, where autonomous systems such as self driving cars or drones must navigate uncertain and dynamic environments. And this uncertainty can pertain to the movement of other objects, the sensors, the measurements, and the control actions. The ninth is the safety critical systems. In application where safety is paramount, such as healthcare or autonomous vehicles, managing uncertainty is critical. Failure to account for uncertainty can lead to dangerous consequences. The tenth one is the uncertainty in transfer learning. When transferring a pre-trained AI model to a new domain or task, uncertainty can arise due to domain shift or differences in data distributions. And understanding this uncertainty is vital for adapting the model effectively. And the lastly is the uncertainty in human AI interaction. And it is when AI systems interact with humans. There can be uncertainty in understanding and responding to human input, as well as uncertainty in predicting human behavior and preferences. Now we have identified different types of uncertainties and sources of uncertainties. So we will talk about one techniques to address this uncertainty, and that is the next slide, please. And that is the probabilistic logic programming, or just the integration of logic and probability theory to find solutions to uncertainties. So you might have heard na the word probability, right? And kung ma-review ninyo sa past lessons, what is probability? So next slide, please. So probability is just the can be defined as the likelihood of different outcomes occurring with a set of possible worlds, and it is often represented by the symbol small omega. And for instance, when you roll a dice, there are six possible words or outcomes. Rolling a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and each of these outcomes has a certain probability of occurring denoted by the capital P, followed by the outcome in parentheses, or kani siya ka ng P parentheses small omega. For example, probability of getting 1 represents the probability of rolling a 1. The fundamental concept is that each possible world has a probability associated with it, indicating the likelihood of that specific outcome happening. So next slide, please. So in probability theory, we have a axiom of probability, and it is just that the probability value must be in between 0 and 1. So si 0 there represents the impossible outcome. Just like for example, kung mag-roll ka og dice, you cannot get a 7, di ba? While 1 there just kanang represents the kanang the set of the possible outcomes. Just like for example, kung makakuha ka og numbers less than 10, so kana ay makuha mo gyud na siya when you roll a dice. So another concept, next slide please, is the kanang summation of the kanang probability of the world. So ang pasabot ra na idea is that the sum of all possible outcomes is just equal to 1. So just like for example, when you roll a dice, na 6 possible outcomes, which means that for every outcome na kay 1/6 chance na makuha na nimo. So if we total 1/6 kaunom, so we have 6/6, which is equals to 1, and mora na gipakita sa kana na formula. So next slide please. So now, in probability theory, there are two types of probabilities: the unconditional and the conditional. So first is the unconditional. Next slide, please. So unconditional probability is the degree or belief in a proposition in the absence of any other evidences. So just like for example, when you roll a dice, kung mag-roll a dice, what is the probability of getting a 1? You're not taking into account mga evidences or lain na factors na naka-affect sa imong outcome. Or when you kanang sa coin toss, the probability of getting a heads, probability of getting a tail. So you're not taking consideration any evidences or any factors na ni affect sa imong outcome na makuha kag heads or tails. Meanwhile, for conditional probability, next slide please. For conditional probability mo na siya gigamit sa AI, and it is just the degree or belief in a proposition given that some evidence that has already been revealed, and it is kind of represented by the mathematical notation P parenthesis A bar B, or pagbasa na is probability of A given that B. So si A dira is the variable or what we want the probability of. Kung mo na siya itong ipangita ang probability, while si P there is just the evidence that supports the variable in the left, or the support siya ni A. So just like for example, when you're playing bato-bato pick with your opponent, and kabantay mo na yung mga opponent is kana nag-spam na siya og scissors. So what is the probability of his next move getting scissors? When kabaw kan nga nag-spam na siya og scissor. So inana ang conditional probability. So how do we solve for conditional probability? So next slide please. So the formula of conditional probability is the probability of A given B is just equals to probability of A and B divided by the probability of B. So next slide please. So just like for example in this two dice, the red and the blue dice. So what is the probability of sum given that your red dice is 6? So next slide please. So since you know naman na the evidence that the red dice is 6, so ang imo i-take consideration na lang is katong rows na naay na 6 si dice. So for the rest, dili na nanay mo siya tan-aon since nanamo kay evidences and i-support mo siya na true na kaning si red na dice kay 6. So now, so there is a 1/6 chance na ang probability of the red dice is 6 is 1/6. Now next slide please. Now, unsa may probability of A and B? Unsa may probability ni A na og B na true? So, for example, si kaniya atibaw na ta na si B is 6. So what about A? So A na to is the blue dice. So we know that dapat 6 pa siya. So as we can see here, makita na to na there is only 1/36 chances na na si red dice is 6 and also si blue dice is 6. So we have 1 over 36. So now we can solve na katong formula, which is P, probability of A and B, which is 1 over 36 divide 1 over 6, which is the probability of B. So we can now have the probability sum 12, given that the red dice is 6 is just equals to 1 6. Okay, next slide, please. And now other formulas of the conditional probability can be written as, so kani siya kay balhin-balhin na siya. So just like for example, di ba atong introduced na formula ganina is the probability of A given B is equals to probability of A and B divided by probability of B. So we can multiply both sides with the probability of B. Mo nang nakancel si P of B diri dapita and nabalhin siya sa pikas mo nang probability of A and B is just equals to probability of B multiplied to the probability of A given B. Or pwede sa ma-change ang variables, just like for example probability of A and B is just equals to probability of A times the probability of B given A. So next slide, please. So in probability theory, we have what we call the random variables. So what are random variables? So next slide, please. So random variables in probability theory is a variable that can take on different value as a result of a random phenomena. So let's look at this example. So next slide, please. So just like for example, when you roll a dice, there are 6 different outcomes na makuha nimo, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or when you play rock papers and scissors, you have three different outcomes, which are the rock, the papers, the scissors. Or in traffic, you have none, light, or heavy. So you have 3 different mga random outcomes, diba? Or possible outcomes. So next slide, please. So to solve for that random variables, we will decide values for them through probability distribution. Just like for example, when you roll a dice, the dice is just equal naman sila 1/6 since there are 6 chances, there are 6 possible man, diba? 6 possible outcomes and fair naman sila. But what about kanang rock paper scissors or sa traffic? So just like for example sa rock paper scissors, nakabantay ka sa imong kontra na mas hilig siya mo pick o paper. Pero 9 times na mag-pick siya scissors or rock. So you put values there 0.3 and or 30%, while sa scissors kay na put sa kag 0.3 or 30%, while sa paper kay since mao may mostly niya gigamit, so you can put 0.4 mo na mag-assign na values. Or sa traffic, when you want to predict the traffic or want to get the probability of the traffic, so you decide values on them. So for no traffic, you put 20%. For the light traffic, you put 30%, and for the heavy traffic, you put 50% or 0.5. So now, as you can see, kung makabantay mo, kung i-total na nimo tanang values sa anang probability distribution nimo, just like for example in the rock papers and scissors, we have 0.3 plus 0.3 plus 0.4 is just equals to 1, and the in sa traffic na kay 0.2, 0.3, and 0.5, which is also equals to 1. So as you can see na kaan gyapon siya, follow gyapon siya sa axiom of probability, or katong summation of all possible worlds is just equals to 1. So next slide, please. So probability distribution can be also be written in different form, or what we call the vector. So just like for example, katong ganina kay gibot nga nimo mga values, di ba? For each outcomes. For now, we can more pwede ra nimo siya inganon pagsulat. So P roll is just equals to 1 over 6, 1 over 6, 1 over 6, 1 over 6, 1 over 6. Given that kebaw ka sa order, nga mo na siya 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Or sa bato-bato pick baron na output ang imong write in vector 0.3, 0.4, or 0.3. And kebaw ka sa order na ano siya, rock, paper, and scissors. While sa traffic 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, given na kebaw ka sa order na non-light to heavy. So next slide, please. And now, We will talk about the base rule, and I'll be giving the floor to the next reporter.
So base rule or bias rule. Next slide, please. What is Bayes' rule? Bayes' theorem or rule named after the Reverend Thomas Bayes is a fundamental concept in probability theory and statistics. It provides a mathematical framework for updating beliefs or probabilities in light of new evidence. The theorem or rule is especially useful in fields such as machine learning, medical diagnosis, and decision making under uncertainty. Next slide. So what's the formula of Bayes' rule? So here's the formula. Probability of A given that B is true is equal to probability of B given that A is true multiplied by probability of A over probability of B. So here's the likelihood, the probability of B given that A is true, and the probability of A, and the denominator, which is marginalization probability of B. And here lastly is the posterior probability of A given that B is true. Next slide, please. So let's have an example of how to apply Bayes' rule. So given the data, 80% of rainy afternoons start with cloudy mornings. 40% of days have cloudy morning, and 10% of days have rainy afternoons. So here is the given problem. Given clouds in the morning, what's the probability of rain in the afternoon? So next slide, please. So based from the formula, probability of A given that B is true equals probability of B given that A is true over probability of A over probability of B. Let's now substitute the given. So rain here is the A and clouds is the B. So let's substitute it and then put the value given. So probability of clouds given that rain is true, that is 80%. So zero point 0.8 multiplied by probability of rain, which is 10% or zero point 0.1 over probability of clouds, which is 40%. So if you calculate it, it will give a 0. 0.2 or 20% of probability. Next slide, please. So what are the applications of Bayes' rule or bias rule? So there are many applications of it, but here's the most used. First is the medical diagnosis. Bayes' theorem is widely used in medical diagnosis, where it helps in updating the probability of a disease given certain symptoms. Second is spam filtering. In email filtering systems, Bayes' theorem is used to classify emails as spam or non-spam based on the occurrence of certain words or phrases. Third one is machine learning. In machine learning, Bayes' theorem forms of the basis of Bayesian inference, a method for estimating the parameters of statistical model. And the last one is the risk assessment. It is used in risk assessment and decision-making processes, such as in financial forecasting or insurance underwriting. Next slide, please. So here now is the joint probability. Next. Next slide, please. So what's joint probability? Joint probability refers to the probability of intersection of two or more events. Mathematically, if A and B are two events, the joint probability of A and B, denoted as P, probability of A joint B or A and B, is the probability that both events A and B occur simultaneously. Next. So here's the formula of joint probability. The probability of A and B or A joint B equals probability of A multiplied by probability of B given that A is true. Next. So here's another example of joint probability for us to understand more. Here's the problem. We have a playing cards and we are interested in the joint probability of drawing a red card, which is event A, and a face card, which is our event B. Let's assume that the playing card has 52 cards with 26 red cards and 12 face cards. So there are 6 red face cards in the deck, 2 red jacks, 2 red queens, and 2 red kings. So probability of A, which is the drawing a red card, is equal to 26 over 52 or equals to 1 half. So nganong 26 over 52 man, so kato nga ba sa mga cards nga usually gamiton nato kay half niya kay red and half kay black. So that's why it's 26 over 52 or 1 half. And then probability of B, which is a face card, given that A is true, given that A is a red card, equals 6 over 26 over 3 over 13. So that's probability of drawing a face card given that a red card was drawn. So nganong 6 over 26 man, delete 12 over 26. So because 12, ito nga sa 12, which is the face card, ato matang jack, queen, king. So 12 na sila kabuok, pero ang katungaan na kay red man. So draw naman siya sa probability of A. So i-disregard na to siya. So half na lang ang answer, which is 6. So 6 over 26, and we can reduce it to 3 over 13. So using the formula, it equals to probability of A multiplied by probability of B, given that A is true. So we can just multiply the 1 half and the 3 over 13, and that will be equals to 3 over 26. Next slide, please. So what is its application? First is a risk assessment. Joint probability is used in risk analysis to assess the likelihood of multiple events occurring simultaneously. So it is the same with the Bayes theorem. Second is portfolio management. In finance, joint probability is used to model the likelihood of various economic factors affecting investment portfolios. And the third one is the reliability engineering. Joint probability is used to analyze the reliability of complex systems by considering the probabilities of multiple components functioning simultaneously. Next slide, please. And now we are here in the probability rules. Next. So what's the probability rule? Probability theory or rule is a branch of mathematics that deals with the analysis of random phenomena. It provides a framework for quantifying uncertainty and making predictions based on incomplete information. Probability rules are fundamental principles that govern the behavior of probabilities in various situations. Next slide, please. So, negation. So, what is negation? In the context of probability and logic, refers to the opposite or complement of a statement or event. In probability theory, the negation of an event denoted as a complement represents all outcomes that are not part of event A. For example, if event A represents the occurrence of rolling a fair six-sided die, then the negation of A is a complement, represents all outcomes other than rolling a 6. So example of it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sides of the dice. In logic, negation refers to the process of reversing the truth value of a statement. For instance, if a statement is "it is raining outside" is true, then its negation is "it is not raining outside" is false, and vice versa. So familiar naman ta na tungod sa katong logic na to ni Sir Afran katong negation. So go. Next slide, please. So marginalization. Marginalization is a concept in probability theory and statistics that involves eliminating unwanted variables from a joint probability distribution or a joint probability mass function to obtain the distribution of interest. In simpler terms, when dealing with multiple variables, marginalization allows us to focus on the probability distribution of one or more variables of interest while ignoring or averaging over the other variables. Next. So for us to understand more is the example of marginalization. So here's the given. If we have a joint probability of distribution for two variables x and y, and we are only interested in the distribution of x, we can obtain it by summing all overall possible values of y. So here's the table, and C represents for clouds and R represents rain. So the C cloud, and there is a negation which is not cloudy, and then R rain, and there is a negation of not raining. And here is the values 0.08, 0.02, 0.32, and 0.58. So let's now get the probability of cloud. The probability of cloud given that rain is true plus probability of cloud given that it is not raining. So you will just sum all the probability of it. Mura siya giika ng like kaning cloud, then rain, then i-consa nimo ang cloud where it is not raining, and then kanisang not cloud nya rain, then not cloud that not raining. So we will just get the probability of cloud given all the y variables here, which is the r. So mukuha ta sa cloud nga nag-rain, then cloud, then not raining. So mano siya sum na siya diya sa ubos sa formula. So it will be 0.08 cloud when it is raining, and then plus cloudy and it is not raining. So that is 0.32, and that will give us a 0.40 or 40% of probability. So next slide, please.
Okay, so reports on independence case. Wag na sa akin. So independence, so next slide please. So what is independence? So independence in probability theory just refers to the concepts that the occurrence of one event does not affect the occurrence of another event. So more formally, two events A and B are considered independent if the probability of both events occurring together is equal to the product of their individual probabilities. So may pasabutan na. So let's look at this formula. So next slide please. So recall this formula. P, probability of A and B is just equals to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B given A. So in this formula, we use A as an evidence to support B, diba? But since now we're talking about independence, we can now remove that evidence we can remove A as the evidence. So next slide, please. So we can use the formula probability of A and B is equals to the probability of A multiplied to the probability of B. So just like for example, what is the probability of you getting a 6 red die and also a 6 a 6 blue die? So we have 1/6 probability for getting a red die, since there for a single die we can have 6 possible chances, and there's only one chance to get a 6 in it. As well as in the blue die, we have also 1/6, and if we multiply it together, so we have a 1/36 chances of getting a red die 6 and also a blue 6 die. So next slide, please. Okay, we're giving the floor to the next reporter.
So there are a number of different probabilistic models that we can generate, but for now, we're going to talk about the Bayesian network. So Bayesian network is just going to be some networks of random variables na connected sa mga ubang random variables, and I'm going to represent the dependencies between those random variables. So usahay mo nga excuse me na ang random variables are independent from each other, but in some cases naay mga random variables nga dependent sad sa ubang random variables, and these random variables siya. So those dependencies, makita nato siya sa Bayesian network because ang Bayesian network is going to capture those dependencies. So what is Bayesian network? A Bayesian network is a data structure that represents the dependencies among random variables. Bayesian networks have the following properties. So they are directed graphs. So basically, ang kaning directed graph, if kaning some of you wala pa kay Bao, a directed graph is a set of objects called vertices or nodes that are connected to each other, while where all the edges are directed from one vertex to another, sometimes called the digraph. So, ang example some example ani digraph kay katong trees sa atong data algo nga, but oh mata siya, and then ang kaning trees kay in mathematical context dili na siya usually assumed as undirected ni siya, but in computer science and data structure kay directed ni ang trees. So pwede na siya ma-example as digraph. So this digraph is going to have nodes, as well as each node in this digraph is going to represent a random variable. So mao ni siya ang properties sa Bayesian network. Each node on the graph represents a random variable. An arrow from x to y represents an x is a parent of y, that is a probability distribution of y that depends on the value of x. And each node has a probability distribution of probability x given parents x. So next slide, please. So these nodes might have different relationships between them, but in the idea that we can come up with a probability distribution for any of these nodes based only upon its parents. So tanaw na to kaning direct graph. So go ahead and begin from the root node, which is the rain node, which is at the top and has no arrows pointing to it, which means that this probability distribution is not going to be a conditional distribution but an unconditional distribution, kaya wala may nagpoint niya, so independent to siya nga node. And nasa tulo ka values, which is the none, the light, and the heavy. So none rain, no rain, light rain, and heavy rain. So each have possible value, and later on makibaw na ta na kay ang kaning mga no rain, light rain, and heavy rain will be given some values. So and then we have these ang ubos niya is natay maintenance with two values, yes and no, and then the train node nga natay on time and delayed, and then the lastly appointment we have the attendance. So next please. So mag first sa kaning first node. So we have the node rain with three values, and this is an unconditional distribution. So as what I've said earlier, na tagaan na siya og kaning likelihood or mga values. So these are the values na iyang atong i-assign. This is just an example. So sa rain nga node na atay none, which is 0.7, likely walay rain, light rain for 0.2, and then heavy rain for 0.1. If ato na siyang i-add sa row niya, that will total or sum up to 1. And next please. And now we're going to consider the next node in the network, which is the maintenance. So ang kaning maintenance is ang iyang, which is represents as y, and then ang rain represents as x. That means na si y is the child node ni rain, which is the parent node. So ang ato maintenance node is na duha ka values, and natay yes and no. So makita ta sa table nga na siya r, which represents the rain, and then yes no, which represents the value sa maintenance. So if walay rain kaning nabay maintenance, so na siya 0.4. If walay maintenance na 0.6. So more likely if walay if walay rain, no maintenance siya. Ano siya. So mo na siya ang table. So next slide please. So here we have a node inside the Bayesian network called train that has two possible values, which is on time and delayed. So on this node is going to be dependent upon those two nodes that are pointing towards it, which is the rain node and the maintenance node. Uh, that whether or kaning since dependent man siya, uh, that whether or not the train is on time or delayed, it depends on whether or not there is a track maintenance, and it depends upon whether or not the train or there is rain or heavier rain. Probably means more likely that that the train is going to be delayed or not. So if there is a track maintenance, and that also probably means that it's more likely that my train is delayed as well. So uh, the possible likelihood na kuan sa kaninga table. So if wala rain and then na maintenance, on time ang on time likelihood na to is 0.8, and then delayed is 0.2. So that kaning kuan sa tanan nga kaning likelihood or kaning tanan nga values sa kana sa rain, sa maintenance, and sa train. And next slide, please. So ang kani siya naantay kaning kuan train and then appointment. So this one is kaning ato lang siyang gi-train and the appointment. It's because ang direct nga kaning connection niya sa kanang nga random variable is a train. So ang katong maintenance and the rain are indirectly connected sa kaning appointment nato nga node. So atong gi gi fork kaning gi-outcast ang katong maintenance o katong rain para mo direct atong attention sa train nga kaning node. So given that ang train na to, if on time maka-attend ba ta or ma-miss. So if on time atong train, more likely maka-attend ta sa atong appointment, and if on time ng train na ito'y possibility or likelihood nga 0.1 nga ma-miss atong appointment. If delayed man gani, there is a chance nga dili ta maka-attend sa atong appointment, and if delayed nga ma-miss na to, natay 0.4 nga likelihood. So next please. So all of these nodes put all together represents a Bayesian network. So this network of random variables whose values have some sort of relationship between them, some sort of dependence, where these arrows from one node to another indicate some dependence that I can calculate the probability of some node given that parents that happen to exist there. So now that we're be able to go, that we are able to describe the structure of this Bayesian network and the relationship between these nodes by associating each of the node in the network with a probability distribution, whether that's unconditional probability distribution, we can now begin to do some computation and calculation using the information inside of that table. So, given atong direct graph natay rain nga node, maintenance, and then train, another sorry for that. Again, ato lang siyang i-extract para makuha na tong probability sa light which is the probability distribution of light rain. Next, please. So now, if ganahan ta og complex, ganahan ta makakuha sa light rain, probability sa light rain, and then no maintenance, we're just going to extract the conditional distribution, probability distribution of light. So probability distribution of light multiplied by the probability of no maintenance given light rain. So next, please. So if ganahan sad ta nga makaibaw nga if delayed ba, so nananatay tulo ka buok, which is the light rain, no maintenance, and delayed. Ang ganahan ta makakuha sa iyang computation combined probability. Just going to again extract ang conditional probability distribution sa light. So that's probability of light multiplied by the probability of no maintenance given light rain, and then multiplied by the probability of the late rain given light rain and no maintenance. So next slide, please.
Texan. I
Yes, sir.
think let us stop here for now, since it's almost 8:30. Since I still have to travel from here sa campus to UC Manggod. So kana lang sa. So we'll continue your reporting next meeting on Thursday, so that I can have, or I can provide you another activity for the week. Within this week lang ako i-upload. Then once again, reminders, next week we will have our semi-final exam, particularly the topics of Group 1 and Group 2. So Group 1 and Group 2, um, you still need to take the exam as well. So ang exemptions lang ninyo is ato ang mga quizzes lang. Okay? So I think that will be all. Before we leave, mag-attendance ko sa katong late nga nangabot. Please say present when your last name is called. Canonigo. Wala gyapon si Canonigo, no? Murag taas-taas na gid iyahang absences. Kapis no naman nun. I mean Carbos.
Present, sir.
Okay, thank you. Dagle. Sad. Gabato.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Ganon. Ibarra. Lucero.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Mahinay.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Sumalinog.
Present, sir.
Thank you. And Villacampa. Alright. So I think that will be all for today, guys. Please, we will continue our reporting tomorrow for CPA laws, and on Thursday for our introduction for AI. Alright. So thank you guys for attending our class today.
Sir.
Yes.
Online na Japan da tomorrow, sir.
Mana may klase face to face ugma.
Sa
Kamura
afternoon
mo
ba,
sa
sir?
afternoon, kamura mo sa akong giagad good kay wa mo ko kay ba unsay kuan niyo diri, if online ba mo or offline ba mo, or kuan na mo mag face to face ba mo. But if hapon pa ang iyang klase ugma, online lang ta morning para dili na mo magkuan diri, para save lang pud mo sa inyong kaon ba. Na gasto pud.
Sige,
Online
sir.
lang ta dayon, next week na lang ta mag face to face para sa tuang semi-final exam. Sige. So kana lang sa. Thank you guys for attending once again. Amping mo kanunay, and see you around. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.